Welcome, my dear friends. Myself, Mrs. Nehal Narai. In this video, I'll explain the topic functions which are used in Visual Basic Programming. So, what is function? So, function is nothing but it is a block of statements or a set of instruction written in a particular block. Function always return a value to the program. So in Visual Basic, how many types of function we have used and how we can create our own functions, we will see in detail. In this video, I have explained only three types of function which is used in Visual Basic, and the remaining one I will explain in my next video. So function, apart from the user defined functions, Visual Basic provides different types of functions. So there are total five types of functions. First type of function is user interaction function. Second one is string function. Third one is conversion function, and fourth one is math function, and the fifth one is date function. So in this video, I will explain you how the user interaction function and string function works in Visual Basic, and for remaining conversion, maths and date function, I will explain you in my next video. So what is user interaction function? User interaction functions are the function through which user can interact with the input box and the message box functions. Means if the user want to communicate uh, through if user want to communicate, then he or she can use the input box function or the message box function. These function displays the dialog boxes through which user can display some information as well as collect the input also. I am giving you a simple example of user interaction function. For example, a login screen is there. If you want to log in or sign in for to use any application, for that you have to enter your username and password. If your username and password is correct, then and then only the application is accessible to you. So the screen will be displayed user into which user can input the its username and password. So that dialog boxes are appeared through the input box and the message box function. So the message box and input box functions are called as user interaction function, because with the help of this function user can interact with the others. So there are two types of interaction functions which are used in Visual Basic. I have already tell you input box function and message box function. So what is input box function? Input box function is nothing but it displays a dialog containing text box and two buttons, OK and cancel. Means whenever the user is trying to collect the input and he or she use the input box function. So along with the dialog box, that dialog box contains two buttons. First one is OK and another one is cancel with the text box which collects the input. User input the text in the text box and click OK and close the dialog box. Then text provided by the user is stored in the string variable. Whatever the user provided the input through the text box, that input is stored in the form of string variable. The syntax of using input box function in Visual Basic is as given below: input box, then prompt, then title, default, X position, Y position, help file, and the context. So the field which are given in the square bracket, all these are the optional field. So basically input box may prompt and title, according to the requirement you can specify it. So in the input box, prompt, title and default parameters contains a string expression. Means whatever the prompt you are using, title and the default uh, are of type string expression. Now I am giving you the example how to use the input box function to collect the user password. To collect the information from user password, user has to specify pass. Pass is a variable which I have declared or which I have used for using input box function. The value of the input box function is stored in the pass variable. Input box, you just specify the prompt, that is whatever the message you want to give in, enter your password, okay, and you have to specify the password, whatever you want to enter, okay. And once you write this code in the form load, it will display like this, and run the command. After running this code, the message box will be display like this, input box. So this is called as input box. In this input box you can enter the various input. Once you click on OK, the form will be displayed to you like this. Then second type of the function, user interaction function, is message box function. In message box function is used to display the message boxes. Through the message boxes you can give the messages, different messages like warning messages, confirmation messages, error messages, etc. It also collect the information from the users. So that's why message box function is also called as user interaction function. The action in a message box function, the action is performed depending upon the button the user had clicked. Whatever in what button user has clicked, that particular action is performed. If user click the cancel button, then the application is cancelled. If click, the application is in process. If not click, it is not, if save, then it save the application like this. The syntax is message box, prompt, then buttons, title, help file, and context. Help file and context, these are the optional field. So this is the example of message box. Just like input box contain two command buttons like OK and cancel. So your message box contain three buttons: yes, no, and cancel. To save the application, click on yes. To not to save the application, click on no, and to cancel the action, click on cancel button. So these are the uses of three buttons, and depending on the button, the specific action will be performed. So this is the code. I am using a code. So you can see the code. I declared the two variables, style and answer, and in answer I'll store the message box value, and then I'll check with the help of if condition. I'll check the answer with VBS command button. Then number of statements are executed. If answer is VB no, then specific command statements are executed, and it is ended with end sub. Then second type of the category of the function is string function. String function always returns a string value that contains a character string of a specified length. Okay. The syntax of the string function is string, number, and character. For example, if a is a variable and if I have used a string function and specified the syntax like number as 5 and character like h, so what will be the expected output? So h is printed 5 times as if I have declared in the syntax the number of size 5. So maximum 5 times h will be printed. The another example of is like this. In this string I have declared instead of specifying a specific character, I have declared a whole string, but still the first letter, the first character or the first letter display 5 times. So this is the use of string function. String function always return a string value that contains a specific character of a specific length. Whatever the length which you have specified, the length according to the length the character will be printed. So if you have any query regarding this, you can ask me on my mail ID. My mail ID is snehal.narade2012@gmail.com. Thank you so much. If you like my video, then please don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel. Thank you so much.